Hello my co-highs, hope you're doing well. I'm your host Tyrannosaur and welcome back to another Beast of the Mesozoic news video. Well, technically news video, but really, I can't really say it is either. As of today, the Moros Intrepidus figure has finally been painted and completed, and boy oh boy does it look gorgeous. And of course, the time is now finally right to do the thing I set out to do. That I said I was going to do a while ago. I forgot when I said it though. I'm pretty sure it was when I read over the stuff in the Kickstarter that I said I was going to do this. But the time has finally come. All 21 Tyrannosaur figures are finished. And now I think we're finally ready to do the Beast of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur series tier list. But before we continue today's video, I just want to say 83% of you guys who watch my videos aren't currently subscribed to the channel. So if you're constantly coming back to my videos and watching my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything new when I upload any content regarding Jurassic World, Prehistoric Kingdom, and of course, Beasts of the Mesozoic. But yeah, also share the channel with your friends, because at 1,000 subscribers we will be doing the one chip challenge, and we'll be having a race to 1,000 just shortly before that. So without further ado, I think it's time we go ahead, saddle up, and talk about the Beast of the Mesozoic tier list for the Tyrannosaur series. I do want to say that none of these figures are bad. This tier list is based purely on opinion. All these Tyrannosaur series that we're about to see are absolutely amazing, like the best we've ever seen. I like some more than others, and that's my opinion. You can like it or hate it, but that's my opinion. None of these figures are bad. They're all really good. I just like some more than others. So bear that in mind as we do this tier list. So if you see one that is in fact lower than you would have liked, don't hate me for it. It's my opinion. Also, this tier list will kind of help me decide which Tyrannosaur figures I'm going to end up getting. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to get them for a fact. So this will definitely help me out with figuring out what I really want versus what I really don't want. But we're also going to be talking about this in like the different waves. So we'll talk about wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. So I think I'm done rambling. I think now we can finally get started with this tier list. And here it is. Isn't it gorgeous? We got all 21 different Tyrannosaurs here. Now I should also mention, before we do get started, I did not include the 1/35th scale Walking with Dinosaurs T-Rex or the 1/18th scale T-Rex or the unpainted Tyrannosaurus Rex models, because those are the Walking with Dinosaurs and the Dino Riders T-Rex was a Kickstarter exclusive, and the unpainted variants, well, that's all they really are. I want to talk about only the painted prototypes that we have already seen. So yeah, bear that in mind as we go through this list. So I have a total of 21 dinosaurs I need to talk about, so I guess we should go ahead and get started. Starting off with wave 1, we have the Dialong Paradoxus. The colors are based on a golden pheasant, and it really does show. The golds, the oranges, the reds, the green eye, the pale face. This is beautiful, and it's, as far as I know, it's the only 1/6 scale Tyrannosaur currently in the line. All the others are either 1/18 scales, or in the case of one Tyrannosaurus, 1/35th scale. Overall, it looks really good. I love all the colors of it. I mean, of course, I still don't like the frickin' prop that you have to hold it up with, but that's to be expected with these kind of figures because they're so top heavy. Either way, it's still a great looking figure. However, the one drawback I have with this is that it's not in scale with the 1/18 scale dinosaurs. It's in scale with my 1/6 Velociraptor, but it's not in scale with any of my other figures. So, as a result of that, it does kind of leave much to be desired. However, I still think that this is a good figure, and definitely one that's worth looking into if you are collecting 1/6 scale figures, like if you're collecting Marvel or anything else, like just to see like the scale of this thing. So, yes, the prop does kind of take away from the appeal of this figure, but overall, I have to give it a B. Yes, I know that might be a little harsh, but the fact that it's not in 1/18 scale, or the fact that it still has that prop, does kind of lend it down some. Die Long is not... It's not the worst, but it's also not the best from this bunch. And again, that doesn't mean it's bad, it just means I don't prefer it. The next one we're going to be talking about is the Guanlong Wukai. By far, I think this is my favorite small Tyrannosaur that we're going to get from this line. The colors are based on a northern cassowary, with all the blacks and browns and oranges, and the very beautiful bright blue for the snout, and the yellow for the legs and the stripes on the tail, the volcanic rock and the sand for the feet, and again, that annoying little prop does kind of leave much to be desired. But hey ho, this figure is in fact a 1/18 scale model, so it will be in scale with all the other Tyrannosaurs from the line, except for Die Long, obviously. And it looks great. It's still fully posable. You got bendable arms and legs and a wire for the tail. I like it. I think this is going to be one dinosaur that a lot of collectors are going to be excited for. Fun fact, I actually didn't know Guanlong existed until I saw some documentary about National Geographic where it talked about finding Die Long remains somewhere in China, and they figured out, oh, it's a type of Tyrannosaur. I thought it was pretty cool, and for that reason, I think Guanlong is a dinosaur I'm most excited for, other than Tyrannosaurus Rex, obviously. Yes, the prop does take away from the appeal, but the fact that it is a 1/18 scale figure, and the fact that it is, I don't know. There's just something so good about it. I think I will give the Guanlong an A. Now let's move on to something bigger, the juvenile T-Rex. Or what was... I think David Silva originally was gonna actually make this into a Nanotyrannus at some point when he announced that the Tyrannosaurs were coming. It was Juvenile T-Rex / Nanotyrannus. Obviously, he went with the former instead of the latter, thank God, because the last thing that we need is more toxic Nanotyrannus believers. But anyway, the colors are based on an earless monitor lizard, with dark brown, kind of like a rusty color, dark coffee for the back, and some off-white for the striping along the neck and the tail, some beige for the snout and the underbelly. This one also has a prop, but this one I find less annoying because it's actually attached to the ankle rather than the animal's hips or chest or something like that. It's still there, and it will probably kind of be annoying because we have to attach it to the leg rather than a certain point on the dinosaur's lower body. But I still find the visual of it to be less annoying, and for that I gotta give it some credit. I love this juvenile Tyrannosaur, and this is definitely one I'm looking forward to picking up. With that in mind, I think I can give the juvenile T-Rex an S. Because, come on, it would be a sin not to. It's a juvenile Rex, and it looks good. Not to mention that prop isn't so much of a problem in this figure. It looks really good. The next one on our list is the 1/35th scale T-Rex, which is going to be 18 inches long. Like the juvenile Rex, this one is inspired by the earless monitor lizard, only the colors are much more richer, more bright. It looks more like a mahogany red or very reddish brown with deep blackish brown back. The stripe on the neck is much bolder. The stripes on the tail are gone. But everything about this figure looks great. The only downside, again, is that it is a 1/30 scale, and there's no other dinosaur currently in the line that scales up to it. So that is kind of a drawback. So... yeah, I'm afraid this is one of the weaker ones for me. I do appreciate that there's no prop for this figure. It's actually a peg in their feet that they can use to stand on, so that's great. I really do love the fact that with these bulkier Tyrannosaurs, they actually have holes in their feet for a peg for them to stand on, so that's all good. I like that. However, despite this, I gotta give this 1/30th scale Tyrannosaurus our second B. Now this is another Tyrannosaurus Rex. However, this isn't the 1/35th scale. no, no, no. This is a 1/18 scale Tyrannosaurus Rex, the biggest figure that Creative Beast Studios has made so far for the Beast of Mesozoic line. It is a whopping 27 inches long, and it's currently bigger than any of Mattel's T-Rexes aside from the Super Colossal Rex. And it's also fully posable, unlike all of Mattel's Tyrannosaurs. I mean, the Hammond collection might throw us for a loop. Maybe. Fingers crossed. But either way, this is by far my favorite of Wave 1. It goes without saying. It's not just my favorite dinosaur, but my favorite design for the figure. They really did the T-Rex, like, justice. The colors are rich. The body type is proportional. Everything about this is just fantastic. And the fact that it's Wave 1 as well means we don't have to wait forever like we did with the Wave 3 adult Triceratops, which many of us are still waiting for right now. Me being one of those. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite of the Tyrannosaur line, not just because it's my favorite dinosaur, but also the way the figure is sculpted, and of course the paint applications, and the fact that this thing's going to be freaking massive. It's going to dwarf my Mattel Rex for frick's sake. And like I said, with the previous Tyrannosaurus Rex that we just saw, there aren't any props holding up its feet. It's actually little pegs, little holes in its feet that it uses to insert and peg on the stand, which is really great. I'm pretty sure David Silva also said it could probably stand without a peg, like with less dynamic poses, so that's also really good too. I'm really excited for that one. So it goes without saying that the 1/18 scale T-Rex is S. If I could put it up even higher, I definitely would. But S-Class, that's where you're gonna sit. You are definitely the best of the best from this line, hands down. Now we come to our last figure from the Wave 1 line, and that is the Tyrannosaurus. I think this is going to be the only medium-sized Tyrannosaurid that's covered in feathers, completely. I like the colors. They are inspired by a Stellar's sea eagle, if I remember correctly. We got some dark brown, almost black, some off-white for the back, white outlined in white. We got a golden snout and an orange eye crest, some golden hands and feet, and for the stand we got a little bit of snow. Again, no prop, just a peg, and it looks amazing. And the articulation goes all the way from the head, and we got like 3 points of articulation on the tail, and I'm pretty sure the tip of the tail around here is actually a bendy wire, so you can actually bend it up, down, side to side, whatever you feel like, which is more mobility than we could say for the Ceratopsian line, apparently. But yeah, still, despite all this, I'm actually not, like, fully sold on it for some reason. It looks amazing, but I just can't really click with it for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's a beautiful looking Tyrannosaur model, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I can't click with. I'm not saying that the Tyrannosaurus is bad, but yeah, you're going in C, unfortunately. I know it might be harsh, but there's just... Tyrannosaurus is kind of uninteresting to me for some reason. Don't get me wrong, Tyrannosaurus is a very underrated dinosaur, and I think a lot of people could really learn from it, especially because it's one of the few large Tyrannosaurs to actually have feathers. But I don't know. Like, there's just something about the Beast of Mesozoic Tyrannosaurus that just doesn't click with me. I'm sorry, like, for those of you that were expecting, oh, Tyrannosaurus Senpai is really gonna want a Tyrannosaurus. Unfortunately not, I'm sorry. I just don't click with it. It doesn't, I can't get a handle on it. And that concludes all of the Wave 1 figures, really. Now we move on to Wave 2. Starting off with Wave 2, we'll be talking about the Bistahevusur, which is probably, yet again, another very gorgeous looking Tyrannosaur. Deep black, red, and white. The colors are based on the red-bellied snake from Australia. Oh, it's sexy as fuck! Look at that! This is by far, like, when I saw, like, the photo gallery of this Tyrannosaur, I freaking lost my mind. It looks so sleek and glossy. It looks beautiful. And I think that Bistahevusur, I only learned about it from this line, so Beast of Mesozoic is teaching me about dinosaurs I didn't even know existed, so that's pretty cool. It's a medium-sized Tyrannosaur, so it's gonna be I don't know, 18 inches, I think? I don't remember. But it's obviously going to be dwarfed by the T-Rex. But yeah, obviously, I think this might be my favorite one from Wave 2 in terms of sculpt and paint. Because look at that, that looks sexy. However, it just can't compare with the T-Rex, so it's going to have to be an A. Actually, nah. You deserve to be up here. You deserve to be up here. Come on, you are a champ. So far, we have 3 in the S class. Oh boy. And we still have, let's see, I put down 7 dinosaurs so far. So I have 13 more dinosaurs I gotta put down. The next one on the list is another one I'm really excited for, the Dryptosaurus. And I was quite surprised with this one. The colors, I think, are based on a Harris hawk, if I remember correctly, with blacks and dark reds and golds, and the red eye and the gray eye crests and snout. Fantastic. Fantastic. It's a Tyrannosaur that's kind of like an in-between with proto-feathers and scales, which is what scientists used to think T-Rex was like. Fun fact, I originally thought that Dryptosaurus had 3 fingers, like originally. That was like my biggest gripe with when I saw the concept art of this. And it turns out it actually does have 2. I was actually thinking about Appalachosaurus, not Dryptosaurus of all things, so that was pretty funny actually. I got schooled. I got really schooled. But yeah, another great looking Tyrannosaur. Really looking forward to it. Yeah. However, this one is another A. It looks great, don't get me wrong, but it just can't compete with the Biscaheversur and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So far, no one's gotten a D yet, which is pretty funny. Oh, okay. So the next one we got is the Lythronax. The colors are based on a black-chested spiked iguana, I think it's called. We got golds, beige. We got all kinds of colors. Like, it's just crazy. It almost kind of reminds me of something I'd see in Walking with Dinosaurs. Like, I imagine something like this coming out of Walking with Dinosaurs, like, for real. And I also remember this because this one has, like, freaking vampire fangs, which is iconic, I guess, for this sort of figure. The base is kind of like an arid, sort of deserty biome sort of thing, which I guess would have been ideal for a Tyrannosaur like this. Like the Utaranus, I'm kind of unimpressed with it. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of uninteresting. So, I think Lythronax, you're gonna have to be our next C. Oh boy. It's uninteresting for me, but I'm pretty sure to anyone else, it looks gorgeous. The next one we had on our list is the Tyrannosaurus. This one went through a pretty serious change. It used to be almost pure white with a blue face. Now it's completely changed. I don't even know what the color inspiration is anymore because it's changed like this. We have an off-white, we got dark brown, we got golds and blues for the face. This is a pretty good-looking Tyrannosaur. It's probably on par with the Guanlong, if you ask me. They're about the same size as the Guanlong, and also like that particular figure, it does have a prop, which is, again, annoying. Don't get me wrong. It's still very bothersome that we have this problem still. But overall, the Tyrannosaurus, I like it. It looks really good. It's not offensive in whatever way, but like I really like it. But of course, with that prop, it's got to go to A again. And then we have the Changosaurus. The colors are based on a blue Malaysian coral snake, and it really does show. We got like reds, blacks, and then oranges, which fade into like these electric sapphire blue. I honestly didn't expect this Tyrannosaur to come into Jurassic World Evolution 2. Like, it was a shock to see that they had brought a very obscure Tyrannosaurid into a game like that. Plus, I also just like the fact that the Changosaurus' nickname is the Pinocchio Rex because of its very long, elegant snout. Like the Tyrannosaurus juvenile, it does have a prop for its leg, which again is kind of annoying. But the paint job of this dinosaur, love it. Now, I've said in the past that I'm not getting a Changosaurus, but Even so, I still put it as an A because, my god, it looks glorious. I should mention that even if dinosaurs make it to the S tier, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm still going to get them. The ones that I said in the past that I'm guaranteed to get is the juvenile Rex and the 1/18 scale Rex for a solid fact. Maybe I'll get some of the others in the lower tiers, and like I said, I was going to go on long and a bunch of other things, but this list will help me narrow down what I really want from this line. Next one, we have the very adorable looking Tyrannus. The colors are based on an osprey. We got off-white, we got pure white, we got blacks, and we got browns, and a red for the eye, and a gray for the snout. We got some mossy rocks, and of course we got, yet again, another prop, which is to be expected from these smaller Tyrannosaurs. I think this figure might be considerably smaller than the Guanlong. I think it might actually be the smallest Tyrannosaur figure that we're going to get. You know, it's funny, right? We're going to be getting these small Tyrannosaurs, and then we're going to get raptors that are even smaller than these. So that's kind of crazy to think about. I always thought that these guys were around the same size, but no, apparently not. And I'm still amazed about the fact that David Silva put so much detail on this little dinosaur, and then also made it fully posable like all the rest. It's so gorgeous. I can't wait for this one. I also just happen to like ospreys. I think they're really cool birds. I see them all the time, hunting fish from the sky, like dive bombing and stretching out their talons and then coming up with the fish. I think it's a glorious sight to behold. And Tyrannus is a dinosaur I do plan on getting. So up to the S tier list it goes. And the last one for Wave 2 is the Tyrannosaurus, which, fun fact, was actually going to be in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as like a corpse. This Tyrannosaur figure, I believe, is based on a painted terrapin, which is a kind of turtle. We got blacks, whites, beiges, browns, reds. It's a very striking looking Tyrannosaur. When I first saw like the concept art of this, and I saw the name, which literally translates to monstrous murder, I was like, oh my god, this is a savage. I really didn't know what to expect. The concept art of this thing looked very weird, but now seeing it as like a full figure, I like it. It's definitely up there with some of the other Tyrannosaur figures, but it's still kind of like the Tyrannus, not as impressive as the other line, and it doesn't really click with me. So for that reason, I'm putting my Tyrannosaurus in the C tier. Now we come to the final wave, which is Wave 3, and the first one we're talking about is a definite must-have. The Albertosaur sarcophagus. The colors are based on an Australian water dragon lizard, with greens and golds and browns. This is a wet dream for me. Hands down, this is probably right up there with T-Rex in terms of color. We're not having this discussion. I'm putting it up there. We're not having the discussion. It's going up here. It is going to be an S tier. Bite me. And then next up we have Electrosaurus. The colors are based on a juvenile Amazon tree python with ruby red, black backs, with white stripes outlined in blue and yellow. We got like a grassy rock, I guess. And then once again we have that prop, which I guess does kind of connect to the back of the hip. So I guess there are multiple props like we do have with the raptors. Which is interesting. Also, this Electrosaurus has a speculative third finger, which kind of does bother me a little bit. Because I've only seen portrayals of this dinosaur having two, and no actual vestigial appendage on the hand. So, it's a bold choice. I like that they're doing speculative designs and stuff like that. But Electrosaurus is not a Tyrannosaur I'm particularly excited about, if I'm going to be totally honest. I had to put it with D. I'm sorry, it's just one of those uninteresting ones to me. Plus, the concept art of this thing looked very weird and wrinkly and nasty, like it was shrink wrap and stuff, so I think that's kind of what kind of turned me off from it. Next up, I think we have the most underwhelming Tyrannosaur. I mean, it looks great. It's Daspletosaurus turosus, I think it is. It's based on a kind of chameleon. I forgot what it was called. We got reds, blacks, golds, and beiges and stuff like that. That head, though, I was expecting it to look more along the lines of the Path of Titans of Daspletosaurus, which does look pretty cool. I was expecting this to look like Path of Titans for some reason. But, it's a good-looking Tyrannosaur. Don't get me wrong, all these figures look great, but this Daspletosaurus is probably the most uninteresting dinosaur from this line, to me. I don't know. There's just something I don't... It just doesn't click with me, like as good as the others. So, unfortunately, Daspletosaurus is our first D on the list, which is kind of sad, really, because it was such a great opportunity. Next up on our list was the recently revealed Eotyrannus. Very good looking sculpt, very good looking paint job. We got bright golds, we got reds, blacks, whites. It's based on some kind of bird, I forgot what it was. It looks really good. I like it. It's definitely one of the more obscure Tyrannosaurs. Oh yeah, the color is based on a red kite. I'm just remembering. Shit, sorry guys. This one also has the prop, which is, again, very annoying. But otherwise, it's a pretty solid looking figure, and I think it is a pretty nice collectible to have. Either way, though, I think that its place should be in B, just because. Now we're getting on to one of the most interesting ones. That's the Gorgosaurus libratus. The color is based on a blue razor snake and a mako shark, funnily enough. We have dark blue for the back, which gradually turns into a lighter blue, and then we got like a gold and beige underbelly, and some nice yellow claws too. That's an interesting detail. And like a brown eye, hazel eye, green eye, I don't know. Again, nice looking Tyrannosaur, but doesn't really catch my attention all that much. I also think it's funny that all the iconic Gorgosaurus designs are blue. Like with the Walking with Dinosaurs Gorgon, which I guess we can't get now because we got this one instead. And the Jurassic World Alive Gorgosaurus. I'm gonna have to give the Gorgosaurus a B. Sorry. And now we come to the most recent addition to the Tyrannosaur line. The Moros Intrepidus, the Harbinger of Doom. Soon to be featured in Jurassic World Dominion. The colors are based on a red belly star set, I think that it's called. It kind of looks more like a robin to me, really. It's black and gray with red belly and gold legs and an off-white tail. It looks really cool. Again, annoyed about the prop, but overall, it's still a good-looking figure. I'm really excited to see it in Jurassic World Dominion. Can't wait to see it. But again, because of the prop, it's gonna have to be an A. And now we talk about the last dinosaur on this list, the Tarbosaurus bataar, which is, I think, the second largest figure in the line. Almost as big as the T-Rex, but not quite. The colors are based on a taipan snake. We got a black head that gradually turns dark brown. We got gold for the sides, and then like a fainter gold flanks. Nice light brown brows, and all that stuff. Again, like Daspletosaurus is kind of interesting to me, which is a shame because Tarbosaurus is like the largest Tyrannosaur aside from T-Rex, and I think it's a contender for Zhusheng Tyrannus, I'm pretty sure. I actually heard a lot of people getting a little bit upset that Zhusheng Tyrannus wasn't on this list. But yeah, Tarbosaurus, I like it, but it's not that interesting to me. So Tarbosaurus will have to fall in line with the Daspletosaurus in the D tier. And that, folks, is my official tier list for the Beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur line. Oh my god, this was kind of a hard one to do. So for S tier, we have the Juvenile T-Rex, the 1/18 scale Adult T-Rex, the Bistaheversur, the Susquityrannus, and the Albertosaurus. In the A tier, we have Guanlong, Dryptosaurus, Proceratosaurus, Changosaurus, and Moros. In B, we have Dailong, the 1/30 scale T-Rex, the Eotyrannus, and the Gorgosaurus. In the C tier, we have Utyrannus, Lythronex, Teratophonius, and Electrosaurus. And coming in dead last for D is the Daspletosaurus and Tarbosaurus. Overall, I think I was pretty fair. I might have been harsh on a couple of them, but then again, it's my opinion and I'm entitled to it. But anyway, there you have it. That's my official tier list for the Beast of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur line. What do you guys think of this list? Do you agree with it, or are there some dinosaurs on this list that you think should be higher or lower than what you would have thought? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Obviously, I'll be keeping my eye out for more Beast of the Mesozoic news as stuff comes out, and of course, Cyberzoic whenever we get more news of that, because we haven't gotten anything since that's Arctic Dragon. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe today, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything new. Link to the Discord in the description down below, and until next time, this is Tyrannosaur signing off. Alrighty then, take care now. Bye-bye then.